I used to be a manager for a company that was like contracted to come into like certain facilities, and they supplied the crew who did like environmental services there, right? And I was the manager, and so it was a good gig. Like, the people that worked for me were great. They just didn't get the pay that they probably should have. But their union fucking sucked. And so, not that unions suck, just their union sucked. And so did the representative. I remember this one lady who was of, I don't remember what her background was, and she always seen me around, and she seemed like she knew my crew really liked working with me, and they really respected me. And she had a friend who she thought, like, okay, this lady needs a job, she's a little older, but maybe I will give her a chance. And so she came up to me and she's like, hey, I have a friend, she's interested, and if you're looking for anybody, she could really use the work. And I said, well, have her come in, fill out an application, we'll go through the process, and we'll see where it goes. She's like, there's just one issue. She's like, the lady doesn't speak English. And I said, well, what does she speak? And I don't remember. I want to say it was like Czechoslovakian, or it was something along those lines. It was not English, Spanish, or anything that I'm familiar with. And I said, okay, that's, of course, not an issue. Like, we'll work around it. We'll figure something out, as long as she can do the job and she understands and is able to complete what's necessary. So she comes in, and I ended up hiring her. She was very nice. She was an older woman, but she was hungry for work. She wanted to work. She was available, and she could fill in where it was needed. And so I couldn't guarantee her anything, but I was able to essentially give her enough hours that it helped sustain what she was kind of going through at the time. So I remember it was her birthday, and I always made it a point that whenever anyone on my team had a birthday, that I went out and got a cake for them, that I had some sort of food, and that we did like a little party at the end of the day or at some point in the day to celebrate them. And I remember her telling me in her own language, and we had to Google Translate. Me and Google Translate have been great friends. And I remember her telling me in her language, she says, I have never ever had this. She's like, no one has ever, like, none of my employers have ever celebrated my birthday. And she's like, and I'm so